All right guys, so today I'm going to be sharing with you my monthly setup for July, so stay tuned. Hey guys, my name is Nikki and I want to welcome you here to Carry Grace. Okay, so last month I got back to sharing my monthly planner setup for the new month. I'm going to be doing that a little bit different this month, actually a lot different, but I think you guys are going to enjoy it. So the first thing I want to tell you guys is that June was kind of set aside for me as a month to kind of get back on track and figure out how I need to be doing things. We moved several months ago. I feel like I say that every single video, but it's true. We moved several months ago, and so I'm kind of having to reestablish things. We're also in the middle of summer, which makes things different, and so I've just had a lot of things to kind of work through. So last month, my plan was to kind of get back to routines, get back on track with things here in my home and just staying on top of everything. Most of what I did last month ended up not working. It's okay though, because it really helped me figure out what I did need to do that is going to work better. So before we get into what I'm doing now, I'm going to show you what didn't work. So the first thing that didn't work for me last month that usually does work for me is meal planning by the month. Now this is my Passionate Penny Pincher home planner, and I chose to keep up with my meal plan using the monthly calendar. I have another planner that I use weekly, but I was kind of just using this as my kind of home planner. All right, so why didn't the monthly meal plan work for me this month? There's a couple of reasons. The first reason is when I sat down and made this meal plan, I did not go through my freezer first. Now that's not something that I normally have to do. I do it from time to time. Most of the time though, I have a pretty good idea of what is in my freezer, but I've kind of changed how I'm shopping. I've kind of changed how I'm doing things to try to save some money. You guys, groceries are expensive. So I'm wanting to be better about using what we already have versus just buying all new things. Now, a lot of times I'm really good at that, but over the last several months, because of all of the other things we've had going on, it hasn't been a priority. My freezer is full. My husband wanted to bring something home the other day to put it in the freezer, and we literally did not have room. So I knew that I needed to change things up. So when I made this meal plan, I didn't actually consult my freezer first. And so there were things in my freezer that I wanted to use up instead of some of the things that were on here. That wasn't even the main issue though. The main issue with this is simply that it is the summertime and our schedules are way more relaxed. So most of the time I kind of know ahead of time what kind of activities and things like that are going to be going on. But during the summer, my kids have had lots of things come up at the last minute, which is totally fine. That is part of the fun of summertime. However, that has changed what I want to make for dinner. A lot of these meals are ones I knew that my kids would really enjoy, and I wanted them to be home when I made those things. So things just kind of got flipped around, switched around, crossed out, changed completely, and so this didn't work. So I'm going to change my approach for July. All right, so the next thing that did not work for me is using this weekly spread as my home-based planner on the kitchen counter. Now again, I am not knocking this planner. You guys know I am a huge fan of this planner. I've suggested this planner to so many of you, and I know that it works beautifully for a lot of you, and that is great. I'm so happy that it does. But the way I was using it this month just didn't quite work for me. What I was needing though in June is I needed a place for a central calendar for everybody in my family to really see everything. The other reason I wanted this on the counter was simply as a reminder to me, hey, Nikki, you need to get up, you need to make sure your morning routine and your evening routine is done, because like I said, with moving and transitioning, I'm really having to kind of get back into the routine of things. So it was just a really good visual reminder. Now, it worked great for about a week, but then after that, I didn't really need the reminders anymore, and I also just didn't like having this on my kitchen counter, like at all. I felt like it was always in the way. I felt like it was going to get something splattered on it, or somebody was going to spill something on it. Even though I had it on a nice pretty stand, it was just in the way is the biggest thing. So even though we need a place, like a central place for everybody to see everything going on, this ended up not being the right fit. The next thing that did not work for me in June was zone cleaning. I even did a zone cleaning video recently where I talked about getting back into the swing of zone cleaning, how to set up zone cleaning, all of those things. And in my planner, I made this beautiful page where I could take notes, because my plan was to use the Fly Lady app to follow that to kind of get back into zone cleaning. And then here I was going to take notes so that I could tweak things if I wanted to, so that I could change up my zones in this house or whatever. However, I realized that I am not in a place right now that zone cleaning is the best fit for me. Now, I am still a huge fan of zone cleaning, and I will get back to zone cleaning. I will probably get back to zone cleaning in January. I had to realize that in this season of fixing up this house, things are not going as systematically and planned out as I would like. We're doing a lot of projects around here, and as much as I would like to have them planned out and just kind of go down the list and check things off as we do them, that is not the reality of how things are going. So I had a friend ask me this the other night, you know, how is it going? And I was trying to explain that it's going well, it's just not going like I pictured. So for me, it would be great to have this nice pretty list and you just start at the top and you work your way down. But like I said, that's not how things are actually going. We are finding that we're having to jump around the list. We're having to jump around from room to room, and we're having to just be flexible with it. It's not that we're not organized, it's that something breaks or something needs to take a priority over something else for a specific reason. Some of it is because something will pop up on sale at Lowe's or Home Depot that we knew we were going to buy, and it was like, okay, let's shift things around, let's go ahead and get these things while this is on sale to save money. And then because you have those supplies, you want to use those supplies so they're not just sitting around. And then other times it's been because as you get into a project, you realize there are a lot more steps to this and I need to do this and this first. And so it's just been a lot, and it's totally fine, but it has just made zone cleaning for me something that I am having to set to the side. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One of the reasons is simply that I need less to think about. I don't need to think about, okay, this week we're working in the kitchen, so this is where I need to be focused. Because my husband may be working on another project, like a home repair or upgrade project somewhere in the house, and I'm having to do a lot of other cleaning in that particular room because of that. So things just aren't syncing up. And even though zone cleaning only takes 15 minutes a day, there are days that it is all I can do to just stay on top of what is literally right in front of me. But I have a plan for that, and that's okay. I know this is just a season, and like I tell you guys all the time, you have to give yourself grace in the season of homemaking that you are currently in. And for me, zone cleaning is not it in this season. Obviously, there are things that still need to get done, so I have come up with a plan for all of these things. Okay, so now that you know all the things that are not working for me, let me show you what I am doing and what is working. So in June, I told you that I was really working on getting back to my routines, getting back to the home things, getting back to staying on track. And what I realized, that it wasn't that I didn't have a plan, it was I had a lack of structure to my day. I have implemented block scheduling again. I'm not going to get into all of that because I'm still kind of working through it, but I can tell you that it has made a huge difference. I don't have a lot of different blocks. I kind of have my day broken down into just kind of some bigger chunks, but it's helping me stay focused, helping me stay productive. And so now I don't really feel like I'm needing all of those lists anymore. I don't need to look at my morning routine and my evening routine and all of the things. I just kind of need to know what time of day it is, and that kind of lets me know what I'm supposed to be working on. The first thing that didn't work well for me last month was meal planning for the whole month at one time. So what I'm doing now is I just have this page in my planner. It's just a dot grid page, and at the top of the page I wrote July freezer inventory, and then down here I wrote meal ideas. So all I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take this notebook, I'm going to go to my freezer, and I'm gonna jot down all of the things in the freezer that we should probably use up. Things that we have, things that we can use to make meals from. So I'm gonna make a list. Then after I've compiled that list, I'm going to write out some meal ideas using the things that are here. Now this is gonna do a couple of things. It's gonna help me be more intentional to use what we already have so I'm not overbuying. And then I'm gonna have a list of ideas here so that when I sit down for the week to plan out our menu, I'm gonna have a better idea of what my kids have going on, because I'm only doing this a week at a time instead of for the whole month. So I'm gonna have a list of ideas. It doesn't mean we have to have just these things. Obviously we'll fill in with certain things, but this is where I'm gonna start. And I feel like doing things a week at a time versus a month at a time are gonna work better for me for the rest of the summer. All right, so the other thing that didn't work well for me last month was having this weekly view on my kitchen counter. So I'm doing a couple of different things differently now. The first thing I did is I downloaded a different calendar app on my phone and put it on every person's phone in my house. So I'm gonna pop the name of it and just kind of what the icon looks like right here. But it's just a family calendar, it's free. I used to use Cozy and liked Cozy for a long time. I do like this one better because there are a few more options, but the thing that I really like is that when I put in like my name or my husband's name or my kid's name, I can also insert their picture so that when things pop up on the calendar, I see their face. It's not just color coded, which I really, really like. So we're using that now as a family to kind of keep everybody on the same track, but we still need a visual like in front of our face every day. So instead of the planner on the calendar, I'm using a big desk pad. I purchased this on Amazon. It was very inexpensive. There are a lot of really nice, planner companies that have fancy pads and all of that. I didn't want anything like that. I wanted simple, I wanted inexpensive, because I'm gonna throw this away. So I didn't want to invest a lot of money in it. But I also like that this is really, really plain, so I can use all of my color coding on here. So I'm using the same color coding on this that I use in my personal planner. So now my kids, they know when certain things are, my husband knows when certain things are, and this just stays on the side of our refrigerator. In the past, I've done this with those like magnetic calendars that are dry erase, but I do not like writing with dry erase or wet erase markers. I feel like they're messy. It's fine when you can set everything up at one time, but things always come up, and I felt like every time I needed to add something, it made my calendar super messy and I just didn't like it. So this works better for me. It's a desk pad, I tear it off, and then I just use 2 clips that just clip on here that have magnets, and I put it on the side of the fridge, and now everybody knows what's going on. And it's not on my kitchen counter taking up space. That is the most important thing. So the other thing I said wasn't working for me right now is zone cleaning, which I'm really bummed about because I really, really like zone cleaning, but it's just not working for me right now. Like I said, because of all of the home improvements and projects that we have going on. I'm spending a lot of time painting and a lot of time cleaning up behind other people in my house that are doing projects. So that's what I've got to focus on right now. But of course, there are still cleaning tasks that I do want to get done every month. So basically what I have done is I have gone back to setting up just a weekly cleaning task list in my planner. I have done this for years. It's something I have used over and over. There is also one that is already set up in the Passionate Penny Pincher Home Planner. So if you use that planner, you already have this built into your planner. I'm using a different planner right now. I'm still using the Sprouted planner and I really like it. And in there, I just, used a ruler and a pen and set one up. All right, so now that I have kind of given you guys an overview of what I am changing up and doing different, I'm gonna flip the camera around and I'm gonna show you how I have these things set up in my planner. All right, so now I'm gonna basically just show you everything that I said. I'm gonna show you how I'm actually keeping up with that in my planners. All right, so the first thing I have is this desk pad, which I already showed you, but now you can kind of see it a little bit closer. Like I said, it is very simple. It's got a place right here for notes. It has a calendar for next month and plenty of room to write in. And you can see this is a pretty decent size. This is an 8.5 by 11 planner open, and this is just a little bit smaller than that. It's about the same height, but this works great on my fridge so that everybody sees what is going on. All right, so the next thing you will notice is my work planner. I mentioned that I am going to more of like a block style schedule for myself. So the way I am planning for that is I am using the Passionate Penny Pincher work planner. This thing is great. It is an hourly planner. So in here, on the days that I work, I go in here and I can block the times off that are my work hours. And in there, I can just put all of the tasks that I am doing. Now, if I wanted to use this planner for everything, I could. There's plenty of room in here that I could use like a work block and then a home block and have lists and all of those things. But for right now, in this current season, I am enjoying having everything separate. The reason is simply because my work and home life, it's very easy for those things to kind of bleed together. And I really am trying to keep them separate just for my own sanity. So right now, I like having things separated. So this is kind of how I am staying on top of my block schedule, is I block my work times, have my tasks in there, and then in the monthly calendar, that's where I keep up with when things are due, projects, all of those kind of things. So this is working really well. All right, so this is the main planner that I'm using right now, and it is the Sprouted planner. And I really, really like this planner. All right, so in this planner, there is a monthly tab for each month. And on the front of that tab is just a blank notes page. I am using this simply for a July brain dump. So any kind of projects, any kind of things I want to work on, things my kids tell me, things, all the things, anything I just need to jot down. I have a place where I can just kind of dump it right here on this page. And then when it's time for the beginning of the month, or as the month goes, I can constantly check this list and either move these things to my weekly pages or move them to lists that make sense, or just check them off of here, whatever makes the most sense. All right, so the next thing I have is my monthly spread. Now, one thing that I really like about this is that there is a nice checklist down here at the bottom. So you can see I've got like appointments, things like that over here. Right here, I just kind of have a list of just kind of little things that I want to do. All right, so down here at the bottom of this page, you've got a checklist. And so what I have decided to do is use this for several things that I want to make sure I'm doing each and every month. So right here, I've got freezer inventory. I'm going to go through, I'm going to check the freezer inventory, and I'll show you the list. The next thing is Sam's Club list. So I've got a Sam's master list in here, things that we like to have on hand. And then I will use that list to kind of compare what we have and what we don't have at the beginning of the month so that I can make a Sam's list. The next thing is update home project list. I will show that to you guys. And then the next thing is check monthly home tasks. I'm going to show that list to you. And then the last thing I have on here is donation drop off. So we are still doing a lot of decluttering. I am still getting rid of lots of things. So these are things that I want to make sure that I am really checking up on every month. I showed this to you earlier in the video, but this is the last page in July. It's just a dot grid page. And then I've got a place for my July inventory list. I'll go through my freezer and then I will see what we've got. So once I've gone through my freezer, I will use that list to make a list of meal ideas for the month. And I just have it right here at the back of the month. And I can use this when I am doing my weekly meal planning. All right, so when I reviewed this Sprouted planner, I told you guys that there is a giant notes page section in the back of this planner. I feel like you can never have too many notes pages, and I really like that they are in the planner and I'm not having to use a separate notebook. So you can see right here, I've just got a page of projects for each room in our home. I've just kind of been checking things off as we do them. Some of the rooms I haven't even made my list yet. My husband actually has a master list of all of this stuff on the computer, but you guys know I am more of a paper and pen kind of girl. So I like having this here. But so each month I'll go through and I'll check the things off that we've done. And then I'll look and see if there's anything that I personally am going to prioritize. And then I will move those to my weekly list each week. All right, so right here, I've got my Sam's Club master list. This is going to get a lot of use. When I go through my freezer each month, I can also check to see that we have some of these basic things that we like to have on hand. if we don't have them and we need them, I can add these things to my Sam's Club grocery list. So this is something that I'm hoping to just do once a month. As a part of trying to save some money, I'm trying to cut down on my Sam's Club trips. Sam's is an easy place for me to just kind of get all of the things, so I'm gonna try to focus on not going as much, and I'm hoping that is gonna save us some money. And then down here I have some more things, but I kind of have them broken down into kind of like food items and then more like household items. This is the page that I'm going to be using to do cleaning tasks around the house that need to happen every month, but I'm not going to do things detailed and broken down into zones. I'm going to just do things like this. The reason I'm going to do it like this is because a lot of these things, like dust baseboards, dust you know, corners, cobwebs, all of those things that are on the zone cleaning list, those things are getting done as we're projecting in certain areas of the house. So like I said, I just kind of needed to break away from that for now. So what I have done is I have just kind of written down just a list of kind of the minimum amount of kind of deep cleaning tasks that I like to do each month. So for me, it's just descale the Ninja, descale the Nespresso, clean the dishwasher, check oven. If it needs to be cleaned, I'll clean it. Wash our living room blankets, dust blinds, dust lamps, lights, and fans. And then I've got wash bathroom rugs, wash master bedroom comforter, wash the boys' quilts, wash their shower liner. And then down here I've got sweep garage, sweep porch. I will probably delegate those. And then septic tank. We've got like a treatment that we do on the septic tank each month, and that is just my reminder. So really, I am just going to check off as I do these. I may do these different weeks. I may do all of this stuff kind of all at one time. It's really just going to depend on what kind of projects we have going on and what those projects look like. Like I said, I'm just doing a lot of painting. We're still doing repairs. We're still doing lots of things. We still haven't done anything major yet, but there's still been a lot happening. So like I said, this is kind of just going to make things a little simpler on me right now. And then I feel like I'll get back to zone cleaning at the first of the new year. So these are the updates that I've made to kind of setting myself up to succeed for the month. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're new to my channel and not already subscribed, please consider subscribing down below, and I will see you guys soon.